A reading from the first letter of St. Peter. My dear people, you must not think it unaccountable that you should be tested by fire. There is nothing extraordinary in what has happened to you. If you can have some share in the sufferings of Christ, be glad, because you will enjoy a much greater gladness when his glory is revealed. It is a blessing for you when they insult you for bearing the name of Christ, because it means that you have the Spirit of glory, the Spirit of God resting on you. None of you should ever deserve to suffer for being a murderer, a thief, a criminal, or an informer. But if any one of you should suffer for being a Christian, then he is not to be ashamed of it. He should thank God that he has been called one. The time has come for the judgment to begin at the household of God. And if what we know now is only the beginning, what will it be when it comes down to those who refuse to believe God's good news? It is hard for a good man to be saved. What will happen to the wicked and to sinners? So even those whom God allows to suffer must trust themselves to the constancy of the Creator and go on doing good. The word of the Lord. Those who are sowing in tears will sing when they reap. When the Lord delivered Zion from bondage, it seemed like a dream. Then was our mouth filled with laughter. On our lips there were songs. Those who were sowing in tears will sing when they reap. The heathens themselves said, "What marvels the Lord work for them? What marvels the Lord work for us? Indeed, we were glad." Those who are sowing in tears will sing when they reap. Deliver us, O Lord, from our bondage, as streams in dry land. Those who are sowing in tears will sing when they reap. Those who are sowing in tears will sing when they reap. They go out full of tears, carrying seed for the sowing. They come back full of song, carrying their sheaves. Those who are sowing in tears will sing when they reap. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. Happy are those who are persecuted in the cause of right, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Seeing the crowds, Jesus went up the hill. There he sat down and was joined by his disciples. Then he began to speak. This is what he taught them. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed the gentle. They shall have the earth for their heritage. Blessed those who mourn. They shall be comforted. Blessed those who hunger and thirst for what is right. They shall be satisfied. Blessed the merciful. They shall have mercy shown them. Blessed the pure in heart. They shall see God. Blessed the peacemakers. They shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted in the cause of right. Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people abuse you and persecute you and speak all kinds of calumny against you on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great in heaven. The Gospel of the Lord. I've just returned rather hurriedly from laying Patrick Duffy to rest in the cemetery, surrounded by just that few number of people that we are allowed with graveside funerals. Thankfully, the sun shone and the wind was quite low. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to see where I was going with the length of my hair now. But it was a bittersweet occasion. We realised that we were saying goodbye to someone who'd been a real, what we call a pillar of the church. A man who was very quiet and unassuming, but always willing to do things, to help people at Mass, to organise the collections, the people who were offering the gifts, all those sorts of things. He was always ready to help people outside of church as well, and made so many friends all round the place. Had we had his funeral here, there wouldn't have been an inch of space in better times. We will look forward to perhaps another occasion when we give thanksgiving for his life. To be a martyr for Christ is one thing. That is the ultimate, to lay down your life, to give it up in a violent way. That's what a martyr is, why the colour is red for blood today. But there are other martyrs as well, in a quieter way. There are people who go on working without looking for any thanks or reward. And our Lord asks us to do this. You remember, he says, don't be a showy, don't be a show-off. When you pray, go into your chamber and pray quietly. When you fast, put on a happy face. All those things. We weren't to go round bemoaning our troubles. We were there to be one of those blessed. Blessed, those who mourn today. Blessed the merciful. Blessed the pure in heart. When it comes to a marriage, much devalued and diluted today, to be a passing situation for so many. As a sacrament, it is a very deep spiritual thing. You remember Christ himself quoted the chapter from Genesis, that when a man and woman come together in marriage, they become one flesh. One flesh. Not two. Obviously, physically, they still are two. But it's their emotional and spiritual unity which unites them into one flesh. When one feels happy, the other one feels happy. When one feels sad, the other feels sad. They feel as if they are one. Of course, there are differences of opinion. There may even be glorious bust-ups at times. You wouldn't be human if you didn't have them. But it's not the sort of thing that forces you apart. One has to be forgiving to one another, always forgiving, always saying sorry. I used to say, always say sorry, even if you still think it's the other person's fault. It does help. It helps you put things into perspective. And those silly little things that get conflated into something huge. A little word sorry very often puts it back into its own proportion. And I'm sure that all those who've been married for many, many years will say the same thing. Marriage means different things to different people, particularly outside the church. That's not to say you can't have a really good marriage outside the church. Of course you can. But understanding that the Lord is with you in that marriage is a very powerful influence, a very strong support. When a man and wife come together in the church to make their vows together, the priest doesn't marry them, they marry each other. They are coming to ask God to be part of that marriage. That marriage which is lifelong. That's what the Catholic Church believes. It's not just a fair weather marriage. It's a fair and ill weather marriage. But all those little problems along the line, all those little moments of humour and love all roll into one to make a huge bond where to be separated is inconceivable. So you can almost be a martyr in marriage. That may be taken the wrong way, of course, when one partner gets the wrong end of it. But you can, together, devote your life to Christ through each other. And that way you have a little mini martyrdom, if you like. You have sacrificed your life for the other, to build up the other. So martyrdom and marriage, not as a musical joke, can be looked upon as a martyrdom, as a surrendering your life to God through each other. Make it holy matrimony. Holy. So many people do still give witness to that today, and long may it last. And we understand as marriage as being between one man and one woman. Other associations may be blessed, they may not be, but they are not marriage. So we need to ponder on those things, the things that are of heaven, not the things that are of earth. Happy are those who hunger and thirst for what is right. They shall be satisfied.